Three cats are seated at a table celebrating. Rico has the floor, boasting of his rowdy behavior at a birthday party. Ace swishes a basket in the garbage can. Mitch matches him with his own basket. Rico bets them $5,000 that they can't repeat it. Ace passes on the wager while Mitch takes it. High stakes. I'm gonna make the call and say that these are dope boys. Mitch makes the shot. Rico incites him to go double or nothing. Mitch misses this time, not holding the money to cover the bet. He asks Ace to float him $10,000. Ace receives an urgent phone call and has to leave right away. He arrives at his destination. The door opens and someone yanks him into the apartment. When Ace regains consciousness, he looks like he's been stoned, beat up, and whooped. Right off the bat, I could tell that this movie was not going to be an exercise in intellectual rhetoric. The language is elementary. How elementary? I downloaded the script and dumped it into a word cloud generator. These were the most frequently used words in the movie. You're not going to come out on the other side of this movie any wiser or smarter than you went in. As a matter of fact, I predict that you're going to lose a couple of IQ points in the process. But I poured myself a tall glass of bourbon, hit the play button, and struggled through the bullshit. I made the sacrifice for you, the subscriber. We go back a year in time and Ace is working his gig at the neighborhood dry cleaners. He's just a regular square earning an honest living. His boss, Pip, mentors his young employee, dropping a nugget of wisdom here and there. Calvin, the boyfriend of Ace's sister, enters with a wad of clothes. Calvin also happens to be a businessman. He's the neighborhood drug dealer. He treats Ace like a wet food stamp. Pip comes to the rescue in an attempt to get this clown out of his establishment. Calvin flaunts his money in the face of his present company as if they are peasants. He attempts to persuade Ace to join the hustler lifestyle. Pip warns Ace that cats like Calvin don't last long. They live fast and die faster. At Mitch's household, he's the overseer of his little brother Sonny. Their mom's out in them streets, I suppose. When Ace drops by, Mitch's sister Keisha pops up out of nowhere. She's got a thing for Ace. Ace enters an apartment complex to drop off some clothes. As he's waiting, another resident pops his head out and asks Ace to grab some of his clothes. Ace walks into the guy's apartment. He seems to be in awe. The man is very gracious. His name is Lulu. Before Ace leaves with the clothes, Lulu indicates that he knows who Ace and Mitch are. As Ace winds down from a hard day's work, he coaches little Sonny on his game. Mitch rolls through on a new motorcycle. He encourages Ace to get like him, but Ace is playing the long game. Keep it light and legit. Go through life with a clear conscience. Mitch, on the other hand, is taking shortcuts. He's an ends justify the means type guy. Speaking to drug dealers, Ace spots Calvin as he returns home. Calvin's doing transactions in the lobby of the apartments. He calls Ace over to fuck with him. He berates Ace over his inability to bed Keisha. Calvin chalks it up to Ace being a lame with a lame gig. He again attempts to recruit Ace to the dark side by becoming a pawn in the drug game. Ace's better nature is beginning to wear off as he begins to consider the offer. Another day, another dollar, and Ace is back at the gig, going back and forth with Pip over the choice of music in the cleaners. So Ace is sorting through the clothes and he pulls out a huge rock of cocaine from a pair of pants, the pants that Lulu gave him. Ace goes out for pickups and there is Mitch. One day this cat got a new motorcycle, the next day he got a new whip. Ace is happy for his boy and probably feeling like he's getting left behind. He joins Mitch and they ride around the neighborhood like superstars. Mitch drops Ace off and heads into the corner store. He ignores the cat sitting nearby and heads over to Tommy behind the counter. They greet one another and then Mitch heads over to the young'uns. Gotta give him a negative role model to look up to. Tommy comes from behind the counter and settles up a drug transaction with Mitch. As Mitch prepares to leave, the cat at the entrance makes a comment that stops Mitch in his tracks. The man, Ice, happens to be Mitch's uncle, and the two are on bad terms. Ice wants a taste of Mitch's action, but Mitch wants no parts of this dude. Ace goes back to Lulu to drop off his clothes. Ace notifies Lulu that he found the coke in his pocket and returns it. Lulu ain't sweating the product. It was one part baiting and one part a test of integrity. Ace is perplexed that a cat that carries himself like Lulu is slanging product. See, Ace's idea of drug dealers are loud, flashy, flamboyant cats who buy a motorcycle one day, a new car the next day, and get arrested on the third day. Lulu is aware of this limited impression and confirms that he is indeed a drug dealer. He offers Ace the opportunity to make some extra money. Ace and Mitch hook up that night and get prepared to head into the club. Before they do, Ace springs the rock of cocaine on Mitch. Mitch is surprised that a straight arrow like Ace is looking to get into the game. He leaves Ace hanging on moving the rock cause cocaine in his lane. The two do the club thing where Mitch is the club superstar and Ace is just his shadow. Mitch gets home and finds his moms and uncle strung out on the couch. Ace is at work the next day and he hides the coke under the counter. Shortly after, Pip arrives. He informs Ace that old boy Calvin got busted for selling product. Ace's sister's gonna need a new boyfriend and the neighborhood's gonna need a new dealer. Ace gets home and there's the basehead waiting in the lobby. Opportunity meets convenience. If you got a fiend that's fiending and a rock in your pocket, that's a marriage, baby. Ace does the sale and just like that, he put one foot in the grave. The game. Ace heads back over to Lulu's to re-up. Lulu breaks him off with 1/8 of a kilo to sell. Baby steps. Gotta crawl before you walk. Lulu then gives Ace the breakdown of what profits to keep for himself. Now at this point, Ace is only 80% sure about doing this. He's still concerned about holding down that gig at the cleaners. That steady paycheck got him by the balls. Lulu tells Ace to keep his gig at the cleaners. It provides the perfect front for a drug dealer. But the best drug front is hiding in plain sight. A hole-in-the-wall operation in a dilapidated strip mall. Have you ever noticed a store that's been in business a long time, but you hardly ever see any cars in the parking lot? They selling a bunch of drugs up in that junk, man. Got a cat out here operating a VHS rental store in 2024, and ain't nobody used a VCR in 30 years. How the hell you think they making money to pay for that rental space? So White Powder Ace is hanging out with Green Bud Mitch. Mitch is doing his collections. His runners tell him that they got robbed. They ain't got nothing for him. Nothing but lint in them pockets. Mitch tools up and goes looking for the robbers. They spot him, shot him, and got him. The Vic is lying there, still breathing. Mitch and his man make the conscious decision to catch a body. However, Mitch's decision lands him a prison bed. Ace shows up for work and Pip is already there waiting. He tells Ace that he found his hidden stash. At first, Ace tries to play dumb and deny that it's his. Pip makes the obligatory effort to steer the young brother in the right direction. No luck. Ace has chosen his path. He just wants to get his last paycheck and then they're even. So let me get this straight. You're gonna risk my store getting shut down for drugs, plus you wanna get paid. You funny, dude. Beat it. Ace gathers some of his little buddies and they put together a crew. Then they do that little production line montage that they do in drug movies. You know, business shit. They're making money. Lots and lots of money. That stank face type of money. Mitch is still on the inside, watching the seconds hand move around on the clock, I suppose. This one cat, Rico, has got a hard stare on him. As Mitch is on the phone, he's tested by a dude who's in a hurry to use the phone. I guess he wants to be the 91st caller so he can get them free Run DMC concert tickets or something. This starts the fight and that Rico cat springs up to assist Mitch. Afterwards, Rico introduces himself to Mitch and the two strike a necessary and convenient bun. On the outside, Ace receives news about Mitch's situation and the cat that came to his assistance. Ace is hanging out in his car when he's approached by two cats. They're looking to score some product. Ace plays the dummy and sends them away. He smells pig. Ace goes to settle up with Lulu and the door is open. He cautiously walks through the apartment and finds Lulu on the floor. That cat's body done sprung a leak. Lulu dead. Ace does some quick thinking. He loads Lulu's coke into a shopping bag. He also discovers a bag of diamonds that Lulu had stashed away. Next, we see Ace enter a deserted diner, safe for a small group of men. He cautiously approaches them. Apparently, his only connection to these guys is that Lulu once brought him into this place for a meetup. And I guess he made the assumption that these guys were linked to Lulu. Ace tells him that he found Lulu dead in his apartment. The men are hesitant until Ace produces Lulu's payoff, plus the kilos that he removed from the apartment. The kicker is that he also gave the diamonds to the men. They seem surprised that Ace volunteered to present them with a huge score. They agree to supply Ace. Ace pulls up on his folk and they're all watching a motorcycle stunt show. Turns out that the rider is Rico, cat who came to Mitch's assistance in prison. He introduces himself to Ace and asks to be down on his team. A friend of Mitch's is a friend of his, I suppose. Speaking of, Mitch gets out later. He reconnects with his family, little brother Sonny and Keisha. Keisha's now pregnant with Ace's kid. As the two old friends embrace, Mitch compliments Ace on his come-up, plus his candy red whip. Ace gives the car to Mitch. Mitch is already in hustle mode, eager to earn. I guess prison rehabilitation didn't work on him. Mitch puts in a good word for Rico and urges Ace to find a spot for him on the team. Rico tracks Mitch down. Rico's been on the team one day and this cat is already coming up with plans on expansion. Mitch assures him that he'll run the idea by Ace. When he does so, Ace ain't down. It's too risky. They're making good money. Greed is not good. Pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. Ace is hanging out with the crew and he spots a familiar face. It's Calvin. Calvin recognizes Ace's elevated position in the game now. Ace offers Calvin a position on the team where he doesn't have to be in the streets. All he has to do is just oversee operations. You know, some middle management type shit. Another night, and Ace is approached for the second time by those same two cats that walked up on him in the park. He brushes them off again, but takes their business card. It doesn't take long to see that Rico is gonna be a headache. He's out here shooting cats in the ass at lunchtime. He's taking photos, holding up guns that probably got bodies on them. And he's in the club showcasing a sex tape that he made. Ace tries to advise Rico about putting his business out in the public, but Rico gonna do Rico. Later on, Calvin steps to Ace. The arrangement that he made with Ace ain't working for him. Calvin ain't built for management. He wants to get down in the trenches with the baseheads. Ace knows that cats that just got out of prison attract heat, and heat is bad for his business. Rico interrupts the two and is ready to pop off on Calvin. I'm not talking about popping off words, I'm talking about popping caps. That cat's out of control, but Calvin exits before he gets to that. Mitch gets home and Sonny is alone. Mama's out in them streets again. Ice comes stumbling out of the bathroom. He was getting right up in there. Mitch confronts him for getting high while Sonny's in the house. Ice reminds Mitch that his hands ain't exactly clean. Mitch is indirectly responsible for his addiction. When Ice calls him out on that, Mitch attacks him and throws him out of the apartment. Mitch goes to see Ace. He wants to get away from his situation and go kick it. They connect with Rico and the three hang out. Afterwards, they return to Ace's place, and we've come full circle. This is where we began the movie and Ace received the phone call. So Ace arrives, the door opens, and he gets snatched into the apartment. Two cats begin to beat the shit out of him, pistol whipping him, kicking him to the floor. As he gets to his knees, he can see that the two girls in his crew are hog-tied on the bed with a gunman over them. Those two ladies are definitely reassessing their life choices. The other two men order Ace to open the safe. Ace claims to have difficulty opening it. The more the men speak, Ace recognizes the voice of one of them. It's Calvin. Calvin wants some of that get back. He fires a warning shot near the women. Ace tells him that the darkness plus the blood in his eyes is making it impossible for him to see. They take him into the bathroom to wash his face off. As Ace is washing his face, he launches a desperate attack. They wrestle around as the gun goes off. As Ace manages to get out of the bathroom, the other gunman is standing there, waiting for him. He shoots Ace in the head, and judging from the size of Ace's forehead, shit, that bullet never stood a chance. Ace wakes up on the floor. He looks into the bedroom and his two workers have been executed. He stumbles into the room, walks over, and collapses next to them. As Ace recovers, Mitch and Rico show up to visit him. Rico makes light of Ace's attack. Ace announces to both men that he's getting out of the game. A bullet to the head will do that. Rico thinks that Ace is going out like a punk. There's too much money being left on the table. Rico thinks he knows what'll cheer Ace up. He tells Ace about the fate of Calvin. One day, while Calvin was begging for booty with a skeezer, Rico pulled up on him. He aimed his gun sideways, and then he lit old boy up, left him sitting in the driver's seat posing like a scarecrow. Calvin. He dead. Ace is neither impressed or appreciative. Actually, he's kind of pissed. Homicides only bring more heat to his doorstep. So Rico leaves and Ace continues to talk to Mitch about why he's getting out. The things that Ace is running from, Mitch runs towards. Mitch wants all the smoke in them streets. So Ace agrees to hook Mitch up with his connect so that he can carry on the business. Mitch then receives a call from his mom's. Seems to be some sort of emergency. He gets home and his mom tells him that Sonny never made it home. All she found was a ransom note. She pleads with Mitch to use some of his ill-gotten money for the sake of good for a change. Mitch promises to get to the bottom of all of this and find little Sonny. Mitch goes to Ace to get his help. The kidnappers want $500,000 and Mitch only has $120,000. At this point I was floored because Mitch had $120K and he had his mom's and little brother living in that ratty-ass apartment. You drug dealers gotta do better, you selfish bastards. So Ace agrees to give Mitch 14 kilos to sell to raise the rest of the ransom money. Ace gets home later that night. He is greeted by a crying duo of Keisha and her mom. Damn, I guess something bad happened to little Sonny. But no, it's Mitch. He was found dead. Ace is shocked and broken. Mitch is shown arriving at the apartments with the kilos that he got from Ace. Soon he's joined by Rico, who claims to have been out looking for little Sonny. Mitch lays out the plan to Rico. Sell those 14 keys to raise the ransom money. Rico sees opportunity. Blocka, blocka, blocka. Rico puts some hot ones into Mitch. Mitch slides down the wall. Rico stands over Mitch. turns his gun sideways, and finishes him off. Like they say, goes around, comes around. So Ace is on the basketball court getting up some shots when he's joined by Rico. Ace seems to be on to Rico. He tells Rico about the missing kilos that he gave to Mitch. Rico claims ignorance. Ace inquires about the scratches on Rico's face, the ones that Mitch managed to give him while Rico was pumping lead into him. Ace has a proposition for Rico. He wants Rico to sell the last remaining kilos that he has. After that, he'll hook Rico up with his connect so that he can finally get out of the game. Ace has already set up some buyers too. He gives Rico the business cards of those two janky cats, the ones who were hounding him about doing a deal. You know, the two undercover cops. Ace is intentionally setting up Rico for a sting because he knows those dudes are undercovers. Rico goes to make the deal, and sure enough, it's a sting. Them alphabet boys are waiting. They arrest Rico. During the interrogation, Rico refuses to give up anyone in his crew, including Ace. The cat's ignorant to the fact that he set them up with buyers that he knew were undercovers. We find out that they found little Sonny. He had been killed by his kidnappers who turned out to be Tommy and Ice, the uncle of Mitch and Sonny. And Ace, he ended up doing okay. Keisha had the baby boy, and he's set financially because when he found Lulu's diamonds, he kept a few for himself. The lesson of the movie, crime pays, unless you get arrested or killed.